Hello everybody, it's Wednesday the 3rd of February and this is your maths lesson for today, and you're just going to need paper and pencil because today we are looking at adding fractions, but we're also looking at adding mixed numbers. So that means when there is a whole number and a fraction to add together. So let's begin with our 4 a day. Pause the video and have a go. If you're trying the orange ones, then again you've got today your addition pyramids. So just to remind you, the 2 bricks underneath when added together give you the total of the brick on top. So you can see here 33 add 5 is 38, the brick on top. So how would you work out what these ones are here? You might have to use your inverse skills to help you. Pause the video and have a go. Here are your answers. Have a look and see how you've done. If you made any mistakes, can you work out what that mistake was? And then we'll get ready with our questions. We've got our get ready questions to begin with. Slightly different for these ones. This time you've got to write down and match the information. Here your get ready question, it says match each number to a description. Each number can be matched with more than one description. So you have 6 different fractions here. You have to look at these fractions carefully, and then you've got 8 statements that match the description of that number. So you need to decide which of those, and like it says, it might be one, it might be more than one. So have a really good think. If you can't remember what some of these words mean, you can look back, you can Google and find out what they mean to help you out. So pause the video and have a go at these questions. Let's have a look and see. So let's see, we've got to begin with 1/3, and that is a unit fraction. And if you remember, a unit fraction means that the numerator is 1. It's also a proper fraction because the denominator is larger than the numerator, and it is a fraction less than 1. Let's look at 9/2. That one, the next fraction. It is an improper fraction because the numerator is larger than the denominator. And it is a non-unit fraction because the numerator is not a 1. And it is 9/2, and that is greater than 1 whole. Let's have a look now. We've got 2 8/3, and that is greater than 1. It is also incorrectly written. 8/3 we could have converted into some more mixed numbers into a whole number, and it should have been 4 2/3. Let's look at 4/7. 4/7 is less than 1. It is a proper fraction because the numerator is smaller than the denominator, and it is a non-unit fraction because the numerator is not a 1. And lastly, let's have a look at 7 2/5. It is greater than 1. It is a mixed number. And that was that. So we're going to get started with our main lesson for today. What we're going to do, we're going to look at this question here. We're going to look at 2 whole and 1/5 add 3 wholes and 3/5. And first up, this girl, can't remember her name, says to work this question out, I'm going to convert both mixed numbers to improper fractions first. So this was her method. So she got 2 1/5, and by doing 2 times 5/5 plus 1/5, that made 11/5. Then she got her 3 3/5. She converted that to an improper fraction by doing 3 times 5/5 plus 3/5, which gave her 18/5. So we have done that skill before. Then she gets her 11/5 and her 18/5, and she adds them together, and she gets 29/5. Or that is now, as a mixed number, she's had to work that out as 5 4/5. So that's her method. Now that takes quite a long time. Let's have a look at another way that we could do that. Here's this young man's method. So he's got the same question, but he's going to work it out differently. He says, I'm going to add my whole numbers and fractions separately. So the girl before, she had to convert them and add them all together. But this time we're going to separate the whole numbers and the fractions. So here he's got his 2 wholes and 1/5 and his 3 wholes and 3/5. And the first thing he's going to do is swap them over. So now he's got his whole numbers on this side and his fractions on this side. So now he's doing 2 add 3 equals 5. Then he's moving his 1/5 and 3/5 to find out what 1/5 add 3/5 is. And that is 4/5. So his total is 5 wholes and 4/5. So there we had 2 different methods of doing it. They both got the same answer, but they did it in 2 very different ways. Have a think for 10 seconds. Whose method do you prefer and why? Now, if I was choosing, I would definitely choose this second method. This is much, much easier. Separating the whole numbers and the fractions and working it out that way. I'm going to do it. If I was to do it, I would do it this way. And that's the way that we're going to do it in the lesson today. We're going to separate our whole numbers to work them out separately, then put them together. So let's have a look at this question here. We've got 3 1/4 add 4 5/12. So here we have, using our fraction bars, our 2 mixed numbers. So what's the first thing we're going to do? Let's work on this one together. We're going to put our mixed whole numbers together and our fractions together. So now we have got 3 add 4 equals 7. Then we've got 1/4 add 5/12. Can we add those 2 together? I'll give you 5 seconds to think. What would we need to do 1/4 add 5/12? We would have to convert our fraction bars into 12ths, and to do that we would also then, with written method, know that 4 times 3 is 12. So 1/4 is the same as 3/12. Then we've got 3/12 add 5/12 equals 8/12, giving us a total now 7 wholes and 8/12. So we can there see how separating the whole number and the fraction is a nice simple way to do it. We could simplify that down to 7 4/6. Can you think 7 4/6? What could that simplify to? It could be 7 2/3. So now we've looked at that method, you've got some questions for you to try. To begin with, we've got Teddy and Mo are adding mixed numbers. And again, look at their 2 methods. Whose method do you prefer? What did they do? Which way did they do it? And then just have a think for this question. Which one do you prefer, and can you think why? There's nothing to write down on this one. Just have a think which method you like. So hopefully you've had to think about that. Again, I would have preferred Teddy's method because Teddy had 3 1/4 add 2 5/8, and he added his whole numbers together to get 5. Then he changed his quarter to 2/8 and added them together and got 5 7/8. I preferred that way much more than this way. This way was tricky, converting everything and lots more calculating needed. So using that method of adding the whole numbers and then the fractions together, can you have a go at completing these 6 calculations? And again, have a think, can you simplify your fraction? So let's have a look and see how you did. So for question 1, we should have changed our 1 2/5 to 1 4/10. to give us 3 wholes and 7 tenths, and then that would have continued. If you got, for instance, 4 wholes and 18/20, could you have simplified that? Yes, you could, to 4 wholes and 9 tenths. Have a look and see your answers, and then we're going to move on to another problem. Here we've got Ron makes this statement. He says 2 3/5 add 1 whole and 7 tenths equals 3 13/10. So looking at Ron's statement, how could he improve his answer? He has the correct answer, but he didn't do something. What could he have done to improve his answer? Pause the video and write down what could he have done. Here is our answer. He did get the right answer, but if we noticed, 13/10 is actually an improper fraction, and what he could have done is converted it to a mixed number. 13/10 is 1 whole and 3 tenths. So his final answer of 3 wholes and 13 tenths could actually have been 4 3 tenths. Well done if you managed to get that one. Again, this time having a look at these ones and having a look really carefully now, because you've got 4 calculations, but having a think, just like Ron did with his question. He worked it out correctly, but he had an improper fraction at the end of his calculation. Have a think how Ron made his mistake and what he could have done to fix it to help you with these questions. And again, can you simplify your answer at the end? Have an extra go at doing that. Pause the video and have a go. Here we see. So for example, question A, we should have changed 2 3/4 to 2 9/12, and then added them to give us 5 14/12, which is the same as 6 wholes and 2/12, because we have our improper fraction and we could have changed it. And 6 2/12 is the same as 6 1/6 when it's simplified. So here you could see how it could have changed, what the answer might have been when it was just added together, giving you an improper fraction, and then how you should have changed it to a mixed number correctly. Have a check, and then we're going to move on. Okay, we're going to look at this question together now. And we've got a rectangle. And this rectangle says each longer side is 1 4/5 of a meter longer than each shorter side. And you need to work out what is the perimeter of the rectangle. So I'm going to give you a bit of time to pause and have a go at this question yourself, and then we'll look at it together. So before we do, let's look at the information we know. We know that this length is 2 1/15 of a meter. So if you know this side is 2 1/15 of a meter, how could you use that to help you find something else? And it tells you this rectangle, each longer side, which is this one here and this one here, is 1 4/5 of a meter longer than each shorter side. So have a think, what could you do to find the longer side? And then your next question, what is the perimeter of the rectangle? Can you remember what perimeter means? Pause the video and have a go at this question. Let's have a look and see what we would have done. So if we know that this side is 2 1/15 of a meter long, then that means the other side will be 2 1/15 of a meter. And it says in the statement, each longer side is 1 4/5 of a meter longer. So to find the length of that, we should have got our shorter side and added 1 and 4/5 to it. And we would have had to have changed our numbers around to 1 whole and 12/15, so we could have added it. So that means that the longer side is 3 and 13/15 of a meter. And if that side is, then that side will be 2. So now we've found the length of all 4 sides. We then need to answer that question: what is the perimeter of the rectangle? So we would have had to have added those 4 mixed numbers together. And like we've been doing before, if we get our whole numbers, 2, add 2, add 3, add 3, then that would have given us 10. Then if we got our 13/15 and our 13/15 and our 1 and 1/15 and added them together, that would have given us 28/15. But we can't leave our answer like that because that is an improper fraction. How many 15ths could we get in 28? We could get one more, and then that would have left us with 11 and 13/15. That was our answer. Well done if you managed to do that. If you didn't manage that, don't worry, but there will be some questions like that coming up, so you can refer back to this video to help you. So we've got a couple of questions coming next for you to try. Pause the video and have a go. Read the question carefully. There are 2 parts to it. Pause the video and then your answers will come after. Here we are. So it says a blue ribbon is 2 4/9 meters long. A yellow ribbon is 3 2/3 meters long. What is the total length of the blue and yellow ribbon? So we should have done those 2 fractions added together, and we would have had to convert our 3 2/3 to 3 6/9. So we came with a total of 5 10/9, but that's an improper fraction. So we could have converted that there to 6 1/9. So let's have a look at question B. Question B, it said a red ribbon is 1 5/18 meters longer than the yellow ribbon. How long is the red ribbon? So to answer that question, we should have gone 1 5/18, add 3 2/3. And we should have converted our 3 2/3 to 12/18, adding those together, giving us 4 7/18 of a meter. Here's our last question for today. And looking at this triangle, it says calculate the perimeter of the triangle. So that's looking back at how we did the rectangle. We should know what perimeter means. Pause the video and have a go at this question. And here is our answer. We were going to do 3 2/7, add 8 4/7, add 6 11/14. But to do it, we would have had to have changed our 2/7 to 4/14 and 4/7 to 8/14, adding them together. That would have given us a total of 17 23/14. But that is our improper fraction, and so we should have found 14/14 for our whole, giving us our final answer of 18 9/14 of a centimetre was the perimeter. Well done if you managed to do that one. And that's the end of our lesson for today. And again, here you can go onto Mathsframe and practice your skills and try some different ones on there. But well done for today, and I'll speak to you on Friday. Take care, bye bye.